Thank the representative of Algeria for the statement, and I give the floor to the representative of Denmark.
Thank you, Mr. President. And let me also thank Assistant Secretary General Chiari for his briefing and welcome the many representatives from the region to this meeting. Denmark joins the Secretary General in expressing concern about the heightened tensions in the Caribbean Sea. Tensions that have continued to increase since this Council last met to discuss the topic in October. We have taken note of the letters sent to the Security Council by the permanent representative of Venezuela over the past several weeks, expressing concern about continued escalations and military buildup. Denmark also takes note of the official statements from the United States government on their operations to combat drug traffickers and stem the illicit flow of illegal narcotics. Mr. President, drug trafficking remains a persistent threat to the safety, health, and well-being of millions around the world. Denmark recognizes the devastating impact of this organized crime and underscores that all counter-narcotic efforts must be done in accordance with international law, including the fundamental principles and rules in the UN Charter. This also includes treaties such as the UN Convention Against Illicit Traffic in Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances, and the UN Convention on Law of the Seas. We further stress multilateral initiatives and enhanced international cooperation to combat drug trafficking, to target sources of financing, and to bolster border control. Regional mechanisms and cooperation remain important in the fight against transnational organized crime. Mr. President, Denmark underscores the importance of preserving the Caribbean as a zone of peace, as proclaimed by leaders of the Community of Latin American and Caribbean States. Denmark strongly urges all parties to strictly adhere to international law and to de-escalate tensions and exercise the necessary restraint. Maritime security in the Caribbean Sea must be preserved. Differences must be resolved through peaceful means, diplomacy, and political solutions. We further urge greater engagement with the United Nations and regional bodies such as the CARICOM and the OAS to play a role in facilitating dialogue and de-escalation. Mr. President, before I conclude, I want to express Denmark's solidarity with the people of Venezuela and their inherent right to democracy, freedom, and inalienable human rights. We do not believe the democratic will of the people of Venezuela was respected during the election in 2024, which were not transparent and also failed to meet the international standards of electoral integrity. We further remain deeply troubled by the Maduro's regime's continued repression and its sustained assault on the fundamental human rights of the Venezuelan people, particularly through its targeting of opposition voices, independent media, and human rights defenders. We recall that a UN fact-finding mission earlier this week reported that Venezuela's Bolivarian National Guard has committed serious human rights violations and crimes against humanity in Venezuela for more than a decade with full impunity. In this context, we regret the recent decision of the National Parliament of Venezuela to initiate the country's withdrawal from the International Criminal Court. Denmark calls on the Venezuelan Authority to restore democratic institutions, political stability, and human rights for the Venezuelan people. I thank you.
I thank the representative of Denmark for the statement. I give the floor to the representative of France.
Monsieur le Président.
Mr. President, I wish first and foremost to thank the Assistant Secretary General, Mr. Chiari, for his statement. France has been closely monitoring the developments transpiring in the region, specifically in the wake of President Donald Trump's announcements related to Venezuelan airspace and the naval blockade against oil tankers under sanction, which are entering and exiting Venezuela. We call for avoidance of all escalation that may threaten peace and security in the region and beyond. As always, we recall our commitment to respect for international law, and in particular, the Charter of the United Nations. The principles of sovereignty and territorial integrity of states must be upheld. International disputes must always be resolved peacefully in accordance with Article 2, Paragraph 3 of the Charter. We support the Secretary General's call for restraint and immediate de-escalation, as well as his offer of good offices. We extend our support as well for the mediation proposals emanating from states in the region who may contribute. President, combating narcotics trafficking needs to be done